as soon as we finish reading this out. So we want to say the Gambia is going through a critical period of reforms under President Adama Barrow. And he has planned to usher in democratic change through his National Development Plan 2018-2021 and the coalition agreement. Unfortunately, the wind of change, which blew fresh air of confidence in the new Gambia, is quickly dissipating after the death of 2 young people in July, in 1 month, allegedly by members of the security services. These officers who focus on peaceful demonstrates the government's lack of commitment to address concerns of police brutality and arbitrary arrest. That's the message we're getting from the government. Yeah? We call on the Gambia government to implement Amnesty International's recommendations immediately. The deaths of Keba Seka and Usman Dabo highlights that if the status quo remains unchanged, more lives could be lost. And we don't want that to happen. On Keba Seka, commonly known as Daddy Boston, a university student of the Gambia. Following his death, the Gambian police published a press release stating that Keba Seka was stabbed with a knife on July 7, 2019 at around Palmarima Junction. In any unlawful arrest, torture, and ill treatment. This is an unfortunate and regrettable statement from the IGP. Yeah? Due to this, we want to draw your attention that on the 7th of August will mark 1 month since the death of Keba Seka. And for that, together with the families, we plan to mark this day. We are thereby inviting the general public and sympathizers to a memorial. More information will be provided on this in the near future, which we will have to agree with the families for us to work together with them. But we want to mark that day. We don't think that it should be a day that should pass without us remembering Keba Seka. On Usman Dabo, a Serekunda market vendor, on Wednesday last week, media reports indicate that Serekunda market vendor, Mr. Dabo, was allegedly detained by police for 9 days for possession of stolen items. It's been reported that after this release, he continued to report to the police. And according to his work colleague, he reported to the police anti-crime unit on Tuesday, where he was allegedly tortured and then released. After being picked up by a friend, he was then taken to a nearby medical facility, where he was pronounced dead. We call on the government to commence an immediate investigation on Mr. Dabo's death and implement necessary action immediately. This incident highlights the sensitive nature of police work. We need to bear this in mind. It can impact on the Gambia's diplomatic relations with other countries. The TRRC, through Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, have highlighted gross human rights violations against foreign nationals in Gambian soil and even outside Gambian soil. We believe this should serve as a deterrent to warn all officers to follow due process and respect detainee rights regardless of nationality. On Occupy BAC, we're expecting one of their representatives to join us shortly. We want to say that last week, the group named Occupy BAC was denied a protest permit, despite undergoing several background checks with police. The movement protesting for better service delivery of essential services such as refuse collections, sanitary services in public places, among other demands, requested to submit its demands to the council. However, it's our understanding that peaceful protesters of the movement were forcefully dispersed with tear gas and 2 bags of T-shirts seized in the early morning. This, we believe, is what sparked the civil unrest in Brikama, which ensued for the rest of the afternoon, resulting in at least around almost 50 people hospitalized. And we are also receiving news that 1 young boy has reportedly died from injuries sustained at the protest. A member of Occupy BAC, hopefully when they come, they will clarify. That's the news we are receiving. And this young boy apparently was killed because a canister hit his head. So the death toll keeps rising. In the midst of the chaos, the movement still met the council and submitted their demands and agreed to speak to protesters to abort the protest. the movement proceeded to meet fellow protesters in Brikama to abort the protest. Nonetheless, what security officers did was to continue to fire tear gas on protesters. Since the police ended up facilitating dialogue with the council, this proves that all the violence could have been avoided if dialogue was prioritized in the morning. In line with the NDP, again, we come to the NDP. Yeah? We want to highlight that decentralization is imperative for councils to reinvest a reasonable amount of revenues collected back into their electorates. Yeah? And in the name of transparency and accountability, the total revenues collected and spent in all councils must be public. Without this information, electorates cannot assess if the revenues collected are actually being reinvested in their council. So that is our statement, and we have our demands, which we will, Ali Cham, Killer Ace will make.
Thank you very much, Yusuf Taylor, for a very clear statement, which I believe is so clear that everybody could see it. Just 1 second while as I read the 10-point demands, I believe this is very important to everyone out there, as these demands, if fulfilled, will change the whole prospect of everything and how it is. So, as I start, it says, there is no justification for a police officer to initiate brutal physical force against any suspect in their custody. The police are duty-bound to care for every single person held in their custody. We believe that beating suspects in custody could have ended with the fall of former President Yahya Jammeh's regime and a continuation of events. Given the situation, we hereby present our demands in addition to the recommendations from Amnesty International published on the 2nd day of May 2019. With this in mind, we demand for the government to, 1, collaborate with civil society immediately to implement meaningful security sector reform to restore confidence in the security sector. 2, commission an independent investigation composing of sufficiently skilled investigators and to prosecute all security personnel involved in the ill treatment of Keba Seka and Usman Dabo for failing to avert his untimely death. The investigation should also investigate security personnel for failing to arrest a suspect who fled after stabbing Keba Seka and all incidents of torture and ill treatment by security personnel. 3, warn all security personnel to identify themselves before effecting arrest. Arresting civilians without identification is a process which must stop immediately. A security personnel must desist from unlawful arrest, torture, and brutal treatment of people. 4, caution all security personnel to follow due process and to respect detainee rights as providing them with legal representation, informing family members and loved ones of their arrest, and desist from detaining people beyond a 72-hour period. 5, repeal all sections of the public interior minister pronounced at the presidential rally in Brikama that hot water will be sprayed on rude protesters. As I quote, the interior minister stated, hot water will be sprayed on rude protesters. This highlights the urgent need for security sector reform to include sufficient checks and balances on appointment of these positions, which must not be politicized. Number 9, restore confidence in the security sector by suspending all security personnel that confess to gross human rights violations at the Truth, Reconciliation and Repatriation Commission pending an investigation. Gambian taxpayers cannot afford to reward human rights violators with a monthly salary. And finally, number 10, collaborate with a more proactive National Assembly Standing Committee on Defense and National Security to implement urgent changes which will protect the lives of the people in the Gambia. Thank you for listening, Team Gomsabo. So we will move on to the next stage in this press conference. I believe the 10-point demand has been clear from number 1 to 10. And we work hard enough as an organization collectively with the media and the people of the Gambia to make sure that that is fulfilled. And we will pass the microphone to one of the victims, the late victim's deceased family member, which is Keba Seka, and we have his brother who is here, and we would like to hand over him the microphone for him to give a statement. Mr. Seka, the mic is all yours.
Yeah, just to clarify, the brother is over there.
Okay.
And a representative of the family will speak instead. The mics, okay. Let's just get the mics.
Oh. All set. I can go ahead. You're ready? Okay, as Yusuf rightly stated, I am Yusuf Akwambinjai, representing the family of Keba Seka. Good morning to you all. Is the mic on? I'm not sure. It's on. You can all hear me? Yeah. I am here representing the family, as I stated earlier. And Keba is our younger brother who was unfortunately killed by police officers an officer of the Gambia Police Force on the 7th of July. On behalf of the family, we have 3 issues that we would like to address. The first one being the press release by the Gambia Police Force, the GPF. In the press release released by the PRO, they strongly stated a lot of, I don't know whether to call it untruth or lies or calculated lies. First, they mentioned that there was an autopsy. There was no autopsy done on Keba's body. None at all. Second, they claim to have moved the body. They didn't move the body. I'll take this opportunity to say hello to the boys that are here. OJ, the driver, is here in this room. He was the person that moved the body from Serekunda Hospital to the Banjul Hospital. The third one, and most importantly, is the fact that they claim that these boys were found to be smoking cannabis. We think it is very unprofessional, inconsiderate, and disrespectful to Keba's family. A dead boy, someone who was killed at the hands of your own men, you cannot substantiate whether he was smoking or not. No test was done to determine the ATC levels. And the way we see it is the words of a confessed killer, a rogue policeman, his words were used as the official statement of the Gambia Police Force. And that is of utmost disrespect to the family. Another thing that we would like to know is the second suspect. Keba was with 4 of his friends, and those were the 4 suspects that were initially named. 3 of them are in the room here. And all of them have stated in their statement that it was not only Laman Tarawale, there was another suspect who is yet to be named, who was of a bigger build and of better stature. And that guy, we have not been told whether he's been charged, where he is, nothing has been told. We have not been informed about anything about him. Where is the second assailant? Lamin Tarawale has been charged, he was taken to court, no one was informed. He pleaded not guilty. The family was not informed. We knew through other channels. And we believe, or we fear, that the police will use Lamin Traore as the scapegoat and let the second suspect go free. And it was 2 of them. Where is the second guy? The third point being the arrest beyond the 72 hours. As I said earlier, Keba was with 4 of his friends, childhood friends. And these people were the initial suspects. And they were held beyond 72 hours, as stipulated by law. If I can just go into the all of. Just to make it clearer, we are calling IGB and the Minister of Interior. Duñ bay museda, dumuna yomba. Yes, Keba is our brother and he was killed, hanging with his friends by a police officer in Mufti with no ID. Came and stabbed him and took him away from us. Dumuna bay mu dem, dumuna yomba. Ñun dañu togn be ci kanam yalla. Dañu togn. Every time I pass Marima, I cannot take it out of my head that Daddy was stabbed here. Imagine seeing a boy playing with your younger brother from the age of 3, taken from his parents, and now all we see is disrespect. The IG didn't come, no police, all we're hearing from the family and is rumors. He said, she said, Yobunenki, Indinenki, Japanenki, Japunkele. His mom and dad are at home just hearing stories from nowhere. The police haven't come to contact them, shed light on the issue, nothing at all. Liñ mëna wax moy ni
IGP na xam ne duñ bàyyi mu dem ba fu mu mundi am dinañ dem ba 6 Interior Minister duñ bàyyi mu dem Président Adama Barrow duñ bàyyi mu dem du seeda dafa yomba dadi duñ ko reyee noonu ba pare mu dem ñoo bañ. And I am speaking on behalf of the family, on behalf of the youth of the Gambia, especially the youth of Kotu. Some of them are in the room, as I stated earlier. We are his older brothers. So 3 of the 4 friends he was with when they were killed are in this room. Duñ bàyyi mu dem. The best thing we can tell you is do the utmost that you can do in your powers. President Adama Barrow, Minister of Interior Mbalo, IGP Job. These men were under your command and they were rogue elements. Ngiri ala yonante bi jox leen ñu jàmm ngeen jàppa ñi teg leen ci yoon ñu mun a am tuuti at least tuuti ndampaay ñu mun a oyofal xol tuuti at least dari duñ bàyyi ñu rey ko ci noonu du yomba jërë ngeen jëf.
That was a very touching statement by Mr. Jai, and we are in solidarity with you. And it's really unfortunate as a lot of information has been exposed, and it is very unfortunate that that the police had to actually go through that procedure of not informing the deceased family, no autopsy, and that basically means that the IGP and the police are misleading the public, which is not fair. And after that, what we will do is we will open the floor to the journalists for question and answer. We were supposed to have Occupy Recama, but they're on their way, and as time is expensive and we have already had you here for more than 1 hour, we will proceed straight to the question and answers with the journalists first, and then we will have the general public also play their part and contribute. The floor is open.
Can you just... Questions and answers. Just identify yourself, the media house you represent, and your name and don't fire away.
Please. No, why don't you just come here so that we can get each and every one of you talking?
It's okay. If they want to stand where they are, it's okay.
No, then the cameras will not take who is talking. We cannot fight. There are a lot of
Yes, okay, man. Don't worry.
Would you please mind? Gemma, please come here. Yes.
But then there's so many cameras in the front.
That's the problem.
So if everybody has to pass by, it's gonna be a disturbance. So could you just stay where you are?
Just stay where
you are. And if you can turn your cameras towards that direction, it'll be more convenient. Yeah. Bismillah.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim Zaman, Government Finance TV. My question is, press indicates that Usman Dabo was detained for 9 days. According to the statement released by the police, on that day of the protest, Usman was released within 72 hours. As stated in the Constitution, however, was reporting regularly. What evidence do you have to prove that Usman, when he saw rest in peace, was detained for 9 days? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Well, my response is going to be firstly, Amnesty International themselves have already called on the Gambia government to respect the 72 hours detention. This proves that it is a practice, and we all know it fully well. It's a common practice for the police and the security officers to hold people longer than the 72 hours. Our second evidence, me as a media person, I'm a media personnel as well. I have interviewed the colleague of Usman Dabo, who they work in the same marketplace. And I have an interview, you can go and watch it there. He has told us that they have held his colleague for that long. Now, what we want is for an independent investigation for them to establish the facts of what has actually happened, and for that practice of the 72 hours to stop immediately.
And the family says, the family members also say the same thing.
Yeah.
When they do also be investigation.
Yeah.
Then that's what they told us.
Yeah. So some of our colleagues have already visited the family members, and they have told us also to confirm that That's where we're getting our information from. Anybody else? Just
Can I say something?
Could everybody please, with all due respect to this event, could you just put your phones on silent or vibrate? Because the phones ringing are very distracting to the audience and to the media who is recording. Thank you.
Next, anybody? Next question.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am also working with the Gambia Daily. Okay, I just want to take you back to the 10 points. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Team from Bopa. You guys did a very good job with the 10 points. Now, I just want to ask, what mechanisms do you guys have to put in place to make sure that this gets to the authorities?
Thank you so much for that question. Well, first of all, as a civil society organization, with all due respect, as much as we organize protests and other events, we are also responsible and very open to dialogue, and will make sure that we will engage the authorities that are mentioned to the highest level. After today, we have our action plan to continue our strategies to make sure that we have all of our demands met. And thank God we have the media who is here to do the follow-up, on behalf of the Gambian people. So by all means necessary, we will engage the authorities. We will make sure that our voices will be heard, the victims' voices will be heard, and keep on amplifying as we do as a civil society organization. Still, on top of that, we have to also inform everybody that we understand Gambia. There has been so many issues before this, and the state is very slow in responding, even on an executive level. That will not stop us from engaging them. We will knock on each and every door. On top of that, we will partner with our international partners like Amnesty International, RADO, and other human rights organizations, international human rights organizations, lawyers, who are also part of our network, and different elements of society, so that we can work collectively. It's not just a Bopa thing. This is everybody, and if we work collectively with everybody, we believe that we can achieve all 10 demands. Thank you.
Yeah. The victim family want to say, answer this question and then the next question.
Yeah. It's just been brought to my attention to just something I looked over. It's been brought to my attention just to enlighten you guys about how the suspect Lamin Traoré was caught. The IGP in his statement, I think, used the word exhaustive investigation, and we can tell you that that is not true. Lamin Traoré was caught because the boys of Koto did the investigation and actually identified him. If I can just clarify that. He fought with some other boys in Koto South 2 weeks prior to stabbing Daddy. 2 weeks prior to stabbing Daddy. And he dropped his ID card, his police warrant card or ID card or whatever it's called. It was that card that was used when word got around that the police had stabbed Daddy. We live in Koto West. It was the boys in Koto South that he fought with 2 weeks earlier. And it was this card that was used by boys, some of who are in the room, and did their own investigations. Visited 3 of the boys that are in this room, that is friends, met them in the police cells and showed them the card, and they identified Lamin Traoré as the suspect. He was then arrested. It was then that he was arrested, and he confessed to his crime. The police didn't investigate. They didn't even have a clue what was happening. They didn't know. Like I said, Oj is in the room. He is the person that moved Daddy's body from Serekunda to Banjul, so the police didn't move the body. The investigation was done by the boys, some of whom are in the room. The 72 hours question, there are 3 people in this room who were arrested beyond the 72 hours because of Lamin Traoré's crime. His best friends, they were arrested beyond 72 hours, and they're in this room. So 72 hours is a normal practice for the Gambia Police Force. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
We have a question.
Well, we all know that the county is margin.
Can we please bring so we can hear the question?
From 2 decades long of dictatorships, and the security forces have been used over these past 22 years as a repressive tool. this new government has embarked on major reforms. And we know that there's a security sector reform incidents. Do you think that the security sector reform is on the right track?
Thank you very much for that very important question. From what we are seeing, clearly the security sector reforms are not actually taking an impact, or we feel they are not in the right track, because what we expect is to have a change in the security sector, a change in attitude, a change in behavior, a change in the way the relationship between the security and the people are. We are watching the TRRC. Every now and then, during the submissions on the TRRC, we get to find out some of these people who have confessed to gross human rights violations are still serving in the forces. What does that tell us? We are at risk. If those people are still in the security services, we are at a serious risk. The security sector reforms need to have immediate reforms that they implement immediately, or else the public's confidence in the security services will continue to erode. We don't want to get to a point where people start to take the law into their own hands because they have no confidence in the security. That will cause create a situation of chaos in this country. We are calling on the government to reinforce the confidence of the public in the security sector by ensuring that when these people who come to the TRRC confess to huge gross human rights violation, I'm not saying throw them into the jail straight away, but what I'm saying is that they must not, taxpayers' money must not continue to be paying them. So we are not clearly satisfied with what is happening at the security sector reforms. We want genuine and meaningful change. And the one way we can have that is by all of us citizens being more brave to confront the security sector reforms. It is not something that the police or the security only have to engage in. Because you know why? If we don't compel them to change, the status quo will continue as it is. Thank you.
Do we have another question?
Sis, would you mind just we're not getting this.
Speak louder so everybody.
I just wanted to ask you, being part of Daddy's family, how does it make you feel that after the death of your brother, you didn't have a condolences from the president or anything?
Good
how
question.
does that make you feel? And I also wanted to ask, after the protest of this day, and you guys didn't have a reply from the president or anything, how does that make you feel?
Can I go first? Yeah. Okay, as a family member, I can tell you, what we call Nyaka Fale in all of Nyaka Week, there was nothing from the police. Every afternoon after work, I stop at their house, and this is exactly how the discourse will go. I meet Daddy's father other than Mango Tree. That, Lord Diga, Dara, Naka Aferi, Gaide Wuhunyu Dara. He even claimed that he once went to the Kotu police to ask for questions about the investigations. This was about 2 or 3 years after. And the station officer was pretending to be sleeping. This is what the old man told me. No one came from the police, not even a call. You don't even have to come in person. But to just call the old man and tell him, Uncle, we are on it. Filian Tolu, this is what we've heard. Bulen worry, Dinaba. Nothing. There was zero. All they heard was sympathizers and mourners coming in and out, giving different stories. And that just made it worse for his mom and his dad. Simple. So every day we have to go to the police, trying to our own way to get information about what's happening and where the investigations were. The Gambia police force didn't care, never came, and didn't communicate at all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And in addition to that, how do you feel? I'm not just going to say how do you feel, but how do the general population feel? Because the protest affected everyone, like all walks of life. And I believe as a nation, when we have a leader, we expect the leader to come out and face the nation during trial and trying times in society. So everybody is very disappointed in the fact that the president or none of them actually came out to address the situation and speak to the nation. It shows that our leaders are really incapable of handling certain issues. And as I quote what rapper G said. He said if it was a political rally and someone said something about him, he would be very quick to respond to his political opponents. So that is very disappointing that this is the situation that we live in, and we expect and we also demand that our leaders and those who are in high positions come out and at least speak to the general public on the situation, as that alone could play a lot in cooling down tensions and restoring faith in the way that the system is going. Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge the presence of Occupy Brikama Area Council. We have the PRO, Mr. Dao, who is going to make a statement. We'll take 2 questions and then he will make a statement and then we'll come back on to more questions. I think there's somebody who wants to make a question? Yeah. Go ahead. Your name and media.
My name is Landin from Paradise.
Excuse me?
Landin from Paradise FM. My question goes to
Mr. Jai.
What is the name?
Mr. Jai.
Mr. Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Okay. Mr. Jai. Jai. You said the Lamin Traore, who is said to be the killer of one of your brothers, is been taken to court without the awareness of the family. Since then, have you ever engaged the authorities responsible for that?
No, we have not addressed the only authority, if I can call it authority, that we engaged was the PRO of the police force. Because like I said earlier, every day we go to the house after work to see the dad and the mayor. They don't know anything. So afterwards, we took it upon ourselves to go to police, where we were directed to the police headquarters on Friday. I cannot remember the exact date, but it was a Friday morning. So I called the PRO, I think his name is Lamin Jai, if I'm not mistaken, and he gave me an appointment the next morning. So I was there at 8:30, and I met him in his office, I think the first floor of the GPF headquarters. And he told me that Tarawale has been arrested, and he'd be taken to court on Monday. I'm quoting him, he said on Monday. This was on a Friday. So I left and came back to work. I was coming back from the airport junction when a lawyer friend of mine sent me a WhatsApp message and said, I am in court with Lamin Tarawale. So this was he told me it was going to be on a Monday, and I was telling people it's on a Monday. On my way from court, the boys are here, they're my witness. I started messaging them that Lamin Tarawale is in court. See whether you have time or to run to Carnifing. It was in Carnifing here, but I had a lawyer friend who was in court who was updating me, and that's how we knew that he had pleaded not guilty and everything he said in court. To this day, I was the one that informed his father. I'm the one that informed everyone else. No one was present, and we think it's a cover-up, which is why I'm highlighting the fact that where is the second suspect? Where is the second suspect, and why are they taking Lamin Tarawale to court? For him to be pleading not guilty, and no family member was present, the media was not present, nobody knows about this. I hope you're getting my point. We feel it's a cover-up. PRO told me he'd be taken to court on Monday. He was taken to court about 2 hours later. I think it was a deliberate move by the PRO. Maybe he can clear that. Secondly, where is the second suspect? It was 2 of them. Lamin Tarawale is the one that stabbed, and he's the smaller one. But there was a bigger guy, and he was the main problem. Where is the second guy? We've been told he's been arrested. Has he been released? Has he been charged? Where is he? Nobody knows. Thank you.
One more question before we get to the PRO.
Once again, my name is Ibrahim Jama, the Urban Talents. What would be your reaction to people who believe that majority of these people who went out to do the protests didn't have knowledge of what they're doing? Like, most of them don't know where they write stuff, and majority of them don't know their responsibilities. Thank you.
Do you mean the protesters Occupy Brikama, or
the protesters in general go to Occupy Brikama?
Well, we have to distinguish both of them. The one at Serakunda Market was a spontaneous protest, which was caused by the Serakunda Market vendors losing their colleagues. And out of that anger and out of that rage, that sparked up the protest, similar to April 10/11 when the students died and the protest happened randomly. Occupy Brikama, on the other hand, was something that was planned. They went through due process to get the permit. So there's 2 different stages of protest, respectively, that we have to understand. So for the market guys, you can understand their frustration. It's like you losing somebody in the media who was killed in the hands of the authority. So under such pressure, as a human being, I'm talking like as a human being, you would just do what comes to your mind straight, and that is to go out. So that was nothing that was like organized by a particular body. It was something that happened spontaneous, because of the event that occurred. As far as Brikama Area Council, our team were really working with them closely and monitoring the situation, and we were updated that they had meetings with the relevant authorities in which they applied and they were not given a permit. So they did follow due process. And on top of that, following the due process, it wasn't like they just woke up out of the blue and said they want to do it. They had a few meetings, correct me if I'm wrong, and after those meetings still, they were denied a permit. So, I mean, as a citizen who follows the Constitution, which says that every citizen has the right to peacefully assemble without creating any violence, I believe, as an independent person, that they had every right to go out, as their intentions was to go out peacefully. None of them had the intention to go out to do any damage or destruction whatsoever. So that's my response to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so now we will have the PRO of Occupied Brikama Area Council who will read out the statement. Mr. Dabo, who is here representing Occupied Brikama Area Council. I will have a statement for us.
Good afternoon, everyone here. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abubakar Dabo, the PRO of Occupy Brikama Area Council movement. It is a pleasure to have me here and to participate in this press conference. We, the youths of Brikama, feels necessary to take responsibility so that we can salvage our poor people, so that we can salvage our poor taxpayers, so that their livelihoods can be improved. This is the only reason why we took up this initiative. Of course, there are so many things that we put into consideration before we embark on this peaceful demonstration as we intended to do. We went around the entire West Coast region to collect and gather first-hand informations concerning those issues affecting the livelihood of the people of West Coast region. Of course, we had those crying mothers, we have had those crying grandmas, and then we have also had those crying fathers in the market, and as well those youths in the West Coast region. After that, we engage relevant authorities, those that can give us a helping hand when things goes otherwise. And then they pledge their full support, and really we appreciate it. I must comment, and I must say thank you. And then the media fraternity also, it calls the attention of the media, which gave us the platform to express our grievances with regards to the attitude of our council. We went to the police on the 11th of July with our written letter, our application letter, so that we can be granted a permit to execute a peaceful demonstration in Brikama. And then before that, we have already started engaging our stakeholders. And then we spent about 3 weeks engaging and also sensitizing the people of West Coast region so that they can be aware of those reasons why we want to embark on the protest come on the 24th of July 2019. When we went there, we were intercepted, and then we were invited to the office of the VP so that we can have a consultation meeting with him, which we turned down because when we initiated this movement, we vowed to each other that it is going to be devoid of any political affiliation so that our integrity, our dignity and credibility in this country can be assured. That is why we turned down the invitation of the VP. Because we believe that the call of the VP was political. That is why we distanced ourselves from that call. Of course, on the 11th, we deliver our letter. And then we were called, after 2 or 3 days, we were called for a background check, which we honored and respected. We went, we were background checked. A lot of questions were being asked, and then we answered them appropriately. They commended us for our comportment. They commended us for our cooperation. And then they gave us assurance that you may be given a permit because of your comportment, because of your integrity. We were having that high hope that we will be granted a permit. Come on that Tuesday, when they promised to call us, we didn't hear any call from the police. We wrote to them as a follow-up, which we delivered the following morning. And then upon the delivery of that letter, we were more or less ambushed by the intelligence for another background check. We complied, we respected them, and then we went into that background check process for the second time. In that meeting, they made to us verbally that they denied us a permit. And we believe that things should be reciprocal. If we write to the police applying for a permit, I think if they are to deny us for a permit, or if they are to grant us a permit, in return, they should write to us also. We wrote another follow-up letter, which we addressed to the IGP. One was addressed to the President of Gambia Bar Association. One was addressed to Attorney General's Chamber, informing them that we are being denied verbally a permit to hold a peaceful demonstration. And then our conscience are very, very clear as a movement. And then our stance are, with or without the permit, we are going out on the 24th of July 2019. Of course, we were called again by a high-profile security council of this country, which constitute the IGP, the Deputy CDS, the advisor to the President on security, and also a high-powered delegation of the Gambia security sector. And then they claimed that we should postpone our protest. That was on the 23rd. Our opinions were, after 3 weeks of consultation, after 3 weeks of engagement with the media, and then trying to sensitize the general public about our intention to stage a peaceful demonstration, it will be very, very odd, or it will be very, very disrespectful to go back to our people that day on the 23rd and inform them that our protest is being postponed. There is no way it is not possible. But we told them that we are only representing, we are only 5 here, but we are representing the entire West Coast region. About 700,000 inhabitants. We cannot take any decision for them. Allow us go back to them. When we went, we had a meeting at our executive level. And then they said, we are going out tomorrow. And then we got prepared for torture. We got prepared to be sent to jail. On the 24th, we went out. On that fateful day in the morning, we went out. And then we wanted to create that room for dialogue with the police. Because what we intended was, we only had a letter that we wanted to deliver with the council. So we pleaded with them, yes, we are here today, and then we have no intention of going home now. We want to go to the council and deliver this letter. This is where our demands are. They said, no, you must go home. That spot, one of our eldest man was arrested. And then our t-shirts were confiscated. Our placards were confiscated. Tear gas was fired onto us. We all dispatched. And then we went to a place where we converged again. We went into the market. And then we wanted to face the police. And then for another dialogue. On that spot also, they fired us with tear gas. The entire neighborhood around the market, the entire market was in chaos situation. People started falling down. People went unconscious. People started getting arrested. And then we went back again to reorganize ourselves again. And then we faced them again. We laughed last, but we laughed the best. Because at the initial stage, for over 3 weeks, we were pleading for a smooth operation. We were calling for dialogue with the police. They refused. At the end of the day, what they refused after earlier that morning, and what they refused us after 3 weeks of consultation, after 3 weeks of pleading to them, at the latter part, that was what they agreed on. And then we were given that opportunity to go and face our council. They had our demands, and then we delivered those demands to them. And then they called us for a meeting, which is to take place on Thursday. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think, let's see, has anybody not answered any questions that wants to ask a question? We're giving the media priority. Are you part of the media? Okay, and then after this gentleman, then you are part of the media? Okay, can you pass that gentleman the mic? After you will come. Yeah? I just want to give those who haven't had a chance to ask a question first.
Thank you very much. I'm Abdullah Mendy from Taxi Effort. I would prefer to ask my question in Wolof so that you I would understand better the answer and I would expect from the gentleman. Mooy li ma bëgg a laajte mooy bu ñu fàttali ko council bi nekkuñ ay nit yi nga xam ne dañ leen appoint ñun électron si ñun ñoo leen sànni carte pour ñu nekk fi tey yaakaar ak kóolute moo tax ñu teg leen buñ demee bañ tas suñu yaakaar boobu foog loolu dañ leen war a xoolaat oo ñu génnee leen ci place yooyu tànnaat yi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo ñu fa gën a mën a représenter daal ñuy dem di protest. That's one. ak beneen mooy dégg naa mu ne VP oote woon na pour gars yi nit te ñoom dañ toon daaw meeting meeting ak VP bi as far as dafa woote te ku la woo bu la waxul jox la I think it would have been better ñoom ñu dem toog ak moom bu fekkee lim leen a wax have political background or political motivation ñu toog ak ñu toon daaw translate ñoom ñu yaakaar ne lii am na politics yu cee nekk moo tax ñu toon daaw meeting boobu. Would that not be also another way of trying to add more fire to the problem or to wàññi safara ci coow li parce que yaakaar naa ni bu ñu waroon a toog ak VP as a vice president would take it upon herself to settle this issue balaa mu doon dem ba àgga to the streets dëgg la protest baax na nag waaye am na yenn yi nga xam ne mun nañ koo solve te fekk àggoo ci protest comme ki la tànn nga teg ko fa carte moo ko fa teg te carte mun na ko faa génne I think it's better nga folli kooku tànnaat keneen ku la fa mun a replace better than ngay protest loolu moo nekk suma question. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah, we'll have to translate your question to the gentleman because of his work is not very good. But I just want to clarify, are you giving an opinion on what you think should happen, or are you asking a question?
It's a question.
It's mostly your opinion.
No, because these people are voted.
That means we need to be clear. The Constitution gives people the right to protest.
To protest.
Okay. So the gentleman's question, where he was asking that should, instead of protesting, should Occupy Brikama Area Council not have used another approach, which was to engage the council in dialogue? And also, the second part of his question is regarding the vice president. That should you have turned down the vice president, that in his opinion, he believes the best thing probably would have been to engage the VP to further your cause. I think so we'll let him answer his question, and then I think there was another gentleman here, and then you.
Thank you very much. It is rather unfortunate that our council is not listening to us. Else, we would have used another avenue in trying to solve this problem. There are so many ways in which we can engage our authorities. And then one way we feel was the best to engage our council was whenever we organize cleansing exercise in Brikama and the surrounding, we always write to notify the council about our intention to clean the environment. On no account, they should deny or they should reject our invitation to participate in any activity that is to take place in Brikama. Of course, it is their job. We are only complimenting their efforts, but they will never respond to us. They will never appear in any of those activities that is to take place in Brikama. That is why we feel the council is not committed to listen to us. The council is not committed to hear our cries. The council is also not committed to solve those inherent problems affecting the livelihood of the people of West Coast. This is why anywhere we go, people will be saying, why don't you engage them? Why don't you engage them? But then the $1 million question is, in what way do people expect us to engage our council? Because I think, to our opinion, this is the only best way we can engage them. Because since their inception, they have not done anything, any meaningful development for the people of West Coast region. And then now is the time to tell them their responsibility. That is why we went out to the street that day. And then our intentions were clear, a peaceful demonstration. But then they turned it violent. That is never our fault. Okay, your second question with regards to the call of the VP. The VP is a bona fide citizen of West Coast region. And then the VP, I believe, knows the problem of West Coast region better than I. Because she has been living. We have listened to the VP. Our entire purpose was going to be defeated. We have seen what was done to Defadoy. We have seen what was done to Occupy Westfield. The purpose of them going out was defeated because of the so-called invitation from the State House, which they honored. We learn from experience. Experience is the best teacher. And then we got our desires done from that experience of Defadoy and Occupy Westfield. Thank you.
My first question is not yet answered.
I would like to clarify something there. As far as Defadoy is concerned, with all due respect, as much as we did engage the authorities and had said in our meeting at State House, that did not stop us from going out and organizing a protest with
in Gambian history. Just for the record, here. Thank you.
Excuse me, just to highlight, one of our demands is about decentralization. And this is a promise of the government. What that means is that you have local government, and they have their roles and responsibilities, and the government, central government, has their own roles and responsibilities. We need to understand that there should be a clear difference. So if there is a problem in a local government area, it's up to the local government to deal with it. They can prefer, it's their job to try to deal with it. If they want to engage central government, that's up to them. But we, as citizens of that local area, our main people to engage for a local issue is the local government. I want you to understand that, and I want to also impress on you and the rest of the media. Go to Bricam and see with yourself. Talk to the ordinary market woman. Talk to the ordinary market man. Talk to the fisher woman who comes in there. I know because as a media person, I have done that. And I would expect you to do that as well. Yeah, so we have other people who want to ask questions.
But my question wasn't answered.
What was your question?
My question is, these councillors are voted into office.
Yes.
And we, the electorates, voted them into office. And what we expect from them is to deliver. And they didn't deliver. The best thing I think the Constitution have given us is we can call them back.
And the Constitution also gives us
the right to protest.
Yeah.
But now.
So, excuse me, this is you. Well, let me just, I'll ask you. Colleague,
yes.
The Constitution, we're not here to preach to people exactly about the Constitution or to teach people about the Constitution.
Exactly.
We all, some of us who are here, we know what our constitutional responsibility is. What you said is not, doesn't mean that it's one way or the other. The Constitution gives you all those opportunities. The same way you're talking about, to recall them and all that, it gives you that ability. It also gives you the same right to protest. So I don't think you are here to determine to people or to impress or to impose on Occupy Brikama what they must do and what they must not do. So if you can just let your question rest, because I think I've answered your question. What I'm telling you, all those options are on the table, and it's up to them to engage any one of those options they want. And it's not up to you or anybody else to determine which option they must follow. There's a guy here and then this guy. Have you asked the question already?
No.
Okay.
Give him the chance.
Okay,
thank you very much for the detailed representation. My first question goes to Mr. Njai. Since this unforeseen circumstance has befallen your family, and you have made in your statement that you are not going to let it go. So I would like you to tell us what is going to be your next step to make sure that the government is held responsible for this act that has been done for a member of the family. So my next question would be for Tinko Saboma to Kila is, I think your movement has been one of the bedrocks when it comes to advocating for democracy and rule of law in Gambia here. Now I want you to tell us where does our democracy stand right now? If at all people are not given the right to have a peaceful assembly or freedom of expression. So where do you gauge our current democracy? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that question. What I can tell you is Lamin Traore has been charged. He's been brought before the court and it has been forwarded to the High Court. So the matter is at the AG's chambers. That's for Lamin Traore. The other guy, like I said earlier, we want to know where he is, what's happening with him. Nobody goes to war and tells people of his plans. I cannot tell you this is what we're going to do. What I can tell you is Lamin Traore is before the court. With regard to the second suspect, we will engage the authorities. And that's where I can stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. What's your name again, sir? Okay, David Noah. Thank you so much. Well, I believe that question is not just for Team Groups of Bopa, but that is a question for the general Gambian population of where does our democracy stand. Because we are all affected by the way that the country is being managed and administrated, irrespective of an organization or individual. So as far as we see it, our democracy is very fragile. As we all know, apart from the freedom of expression,
which we do have, the opportunity to speak and say what we like. Apart from that, a lot of the things that we fought against yesterday, we realized that it is still being implemented as the same system that was applied yesterday is the same system that is being applied today. So I believe that Gambia has a sugar-coated democracy, but in real life, there are so many undemocratic events and happenings happening in the Gambia, which are highlighted as clearly stated in the Amnesty International report. So that's where I would like to answer that question, just to keep it brief here.
We'll let the gentleman ask a question.
No,
he was next, and then he has an ask, and then Abdullah will come next.
Okay.
That very day, they said we didn't exhaust all the avenues in trying to engage our council. That was the simple reason they said. And then the second meeting with the IGP, he said we didn't register as an association. We do not fulfill all the legal procedures to become a full-fledged registered association. That is why they said we are rejected. So it's like there are two contradicting statements that was communicated to us with regards to the reason why we are denied a permit. First was, they said we didn't exhaust all the avenues involved in trying to engage our council. The second from the IGP was, we didn't fulfill all the legal procedures to become a full-fledged association so that we can stage a demonstration. These are the reasons from the police. Thank you.
Okay, I have two questions. The first one is, what do you respond to critics who are saying that Occupied Brikama is a satellite organization set up by UDP to destabilize the Bangkok? The second question is with regard to ecological tragedy going on in Brikama, exactly in Myanmar. So how do you explain? My question goes for both Occupied Brikama and Team Kosovo. How do you explain your sounding silence over the destruction of Myanmar forest?
Yes.
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
Okay, the mic.
Is it on?
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. Your second question, let me answer that first, and then you will remind me of your first question. Okay, with regards to Nyambaya Forest, I think it is under the responsibility of the Department of Forestry and Wildlife. We know that some of these natural resources on the source of West Coast region are owned and controlled by the state, but then they should give subvention of those natural resources found in West Coast region. Whether or not they give a subvention to that is not our problem. But then as a local government authority in West Coast region, and then the government being an authority that is given subvention on those natural resources, it is the responsibility of the area council to follow the cause of why that forest was burned down to ash, and then the mass deforestation taking place in that forest, Tulata. But there is a closure in Brikama Area Council. They are open to people. And then these are one of the concerns we raise. We need open forums. We need transparency. We want to be heard. Come out and talk to us. We will understand. These are one of the demands that we made to them. So with regards to that forest, there is no development on that issue, and then there is nothing that is communicated as far as we know to the people of West Coast region as to how that forest was burned down to ash, and then the ongoing mass deforestation going on in that forest. Obviously, the perpetrators need to be taken to court. Law needs to be applied on them, definitely, because it is an offense. Yes. Okay.
The second one?
Yes. Your second question again?
No, the first one is what do you respond to critics who are saying?
Okay. Well, we do not talk much on that because the Gambia today, we all know, it is engulfed by that atmosphere of politics that is striving to divide us, this nation. In doing so, these are some of the things that we can do. We hold our authorities accountable. As I speak to you now, we are in a process of becoming a sophisticated pressure group in Brikama that is going to hold our authorities accountable and also salvage from the poor delivery of service of the people of West Coast region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There's a question for you, yes?
Okay, I'll answer briefly regarding the Nyambai forest. As we all know, those who follow us know that we always have been advocating against environmental destruction. We even came out with a song called Dafadoi addressing that. And as far as the Brikama Nyambai forest, currently we are investigating it as we are hearing different stories and different rumors related to the Nyambai forest. And some rumors state that it's
my name is Sidi Njadian from India. I'm a concerned citizen, which gives me the power to be here. So the thing is, I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to give my opinion on certain issues, and I'm going to respond to some questions that are here.
Could it be brief though, please?
And just take it from there. But I just want to bring to the picture that we are in a new democracy, an infant democracy that reference on the course of democracy, and we are not that mature or in an environment of that democracy that we sing about. Okay, I do felicitate your group comes Bopa, along with the Brikama people and all other organizations out there, because that's where it starts. Because democracy is not an abstract concept, it's practical. It's what we do. We see, we feel, and we hear. So what you guys are doing is exactly what's supposed to be done. It's like it filters up from the grassroots to the people that we choose to represent us. So what you guys are doing, I really do appreciate. My only objection to that, I found out that most of these groups out there, they are all into something positive, they're doing everything. But the thing is, there's no consolidation of energies to make it stronger to address the same issues that everybody's addressing from your side of town, from your corner, and from the store. I would really like all groups to get together and just address what you are now addressing. For example, we all tend to say that, oh, we don't agree with this, I condemn this, the government should do that, the government should do that. But the thing is, the biggest mistake that we can make is to alienate us as people from the government. Because we are the government, we put them there, we need to hold them accountable. So as far as I am concerned, I won't ask government, I demand, because it's me. I put you there, I'm a citizen. My word gets to be heard, the word of a certain group got to be heard. So the term ask is a little bit too light. I think we should demand what we need because we put them there. It's so unfortunate that we don't have a tradition and we don't have a profile or a track record of having our public officials to be accountable to us. But working on a new democracy, we have to build that platform. We have to get them on ahead. The old days are gone. This is the new reality. Because there's a change. Okay, he's alerting me about time. Okay, my question is what is to understand. So, I mean, that's all I wanted. I felicitate everybody, and I want you to just keep up the pressure. And hey, we'll get where we're going to get is the beginning, and you know, the rest of the stuff.
Thank you so much.
I thank you all, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Sonic Energy. Highly appreciate it. Highly appreciate your stand for your cause. This might be interesting, but we would also like to acknowledge the presence of secret intelligence officers in our presence as well. You are highly welcome. You don't have to hide. This is for everybody. So we would highly welcome you and acknowledge the presence of intelligence officers here. We recognize them since they came here. And feel yourself at home. If you want water, everything is available for you. So that's something I have to say. Thanks. And as far as Brikama Area Council occupied BAC, I would like to make one thing clear. As Gomsa Bopa, we are down with their cause, not just for Brikama, but for all area councils. Because the situation is not just in Brikama. If you go to Bada, same situation. Go up country, same situation. So the problems that the people of Brikama are facing is a national problem, and as Gomsa Bopa, we back that because we realize that it is affecting us in all areas and all regions, and we just don't want to limit it to Brikama, but they sparked up and started that revolution of keeping our area councils accountable. So I would like to make that very clear. Is any question before we? I'm just clear something. We will talk about that later, you know, but this is not the place to talk about that. I would just like to make that clear as an organization, you know, our stance. Is there any question from the general public? Hold on, 1 second. Everybody's okay.
One other young man.
Yeah, we have representatives from the black market. Nice to see you guys here. Thank you so much for coming. So basically, there's no other question. Okay, the journalist has one question, and I think from there, he's there right there.
To Mr. Dawar, PRO, you have mentioned in your statement, saying like you love the last, like you love last, that means you love the best. So that means you have got your message delivered to the council. So do you have any hope or belief that your demands will come to reality?
Well, your name, Mr. Ibrahim. Our anticipations are high. We are anticipating a lot that our demands are going to be met. Because we know the revenue capacity of our council, they are the richest. Because internally, they are more capacitated than any of these councils in this country. So we believe that they can meet our demands when they are committed. That is, if they are committed, they can meet our demands. And as I speak to you now, they have also engaged us for a meeting that is taking place on Thursday. On Thursday, which date I cannot remember again. And then all the media houses are invited. You can come and your own take. And then we believe from there, all our problems in West Coast, if not all, but there will be an improvement, in the development of West Coast.
Before I hand over Flex the mic to give his final statement, we would like to thank everybody who attended, starting with the media. You guys really did a great job. For the first time, media came on time. Big thumbs up to you guys, and we highly appreciate that, as you have to understand this media plays a role in making sure that we...
For us to address things in unison. And we are calling on civil society to come together to make sure that we can deal with this effectively, rather than having splinter groups. That is not something that we can ever say will never happen. Nonetheless, we will continue to march on as Team Gumsa Bopa, and we will work with everybody who wants to work with us. So we are also inviting you all to take some photographs with us. We can also engage you if you guys want to have one-to-one interviews after that, or get in touch with people. So a photo with everybody, the media and public, please join us outside. Let's demonstrate this unity. Let civil society come together and let us be able to get the security sector reforms we desperately need. Thank you.
Boy, thank you very much. Statement. Is this yours? Wait, Ras. Wait, salute, bro. Wait, Tigo.
Okay, ba léegi rek di leen dem dina naa indi special feature ak ñi nga xam ne nag ñoom ñooy waa Black.
On a separate note, if there's anybody who would like to join the movement Gumsa Bopa, please see Lamin C, the guy with the yellow shirt. Thank you.
How can I go more bu ko defee rek mbokk yi nii la moo demee Gambian Talents TV la dañ leen naa su ko defee def ay wax